Right, hello people, and welcome to episode. Cole, I'm going to need some help here.
9.
Episode 9 of. We have got a very special guest here, Sam motherfucking Bream, and we've got a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about from the whole fitness space, online coaching, business, everything like that. So it's going to be a good one. And Sam, do you want to introduce yourself before we kind of get stuck in with everything?
Yeah, man. So I'm Sam. I guess me and Louis know each other through the online coaching space. I'm a full-time online coach now. I competed in a natural bodybuilding show last year, literally this time last year, pretty much. I would have just finished it, which kicked up a fair amount of like recognition and stuff in the natural bodybuilding space. Sort of after that point onwards, I decided to put all of my energy into building my online coaching business instead of being a competitive bodybuilder. But still very much chase physique development and continuously improve in all aspects. So I'm probably a good like half a kilo to a kilo up this year, and sitting pretty peeled right now. Pretty peeled.
Love that,
Yeah.
love that. It's the show that's happening. It's for Heart of England, UK DFBA. That's the show you did, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's happening today. I got to
Yeah,
ask,
it is. Yeah.
like, because obviously, as you said, you are pretty peeled right now. Why didn't you want to do? Because obviously, you could have easily thrown yourself in a. Well, you could have fucking done like an actual. You're leaner than most competitors right now.
Yeah.
What stopped you from kind of like just throwing yourself into the UK DFBA this Sunday or today?
Do you know what? Well, well, I wouldn't have wanted to go into it knowing that I hadn't given it my all, right?
Yeah.
So like prep last year, it was genuinely like every single gram of food, every minute of cardio, every single step, every lift was progressed, like every single day. And obviously I've been in Marbella for 5 weeks. I've had some off-plan food. I haven't been, too focused about progressive overload and stuff like in the gyms out there because I was just changing gyms so much. And if I was to do a show, like, yes, potentially, I mean, I'd be in the juniors now, wouldn't I? Not teens. I'd potentially do pretty well just from like a conditioning standpoint and stuff. Also like shape and muscle, but I think for me it would just be like a mind thing of like I haven't given it my all, and if I haven't given something my all, there's not really much point in all or nothing mindset, right? So it's definitely that, and also I think just the faff and the money, right? Getting a tan on, spray tan, and also probably that extra. I reckon maybe 4 weeks of conditioning, like Reese would want me to get, would
Yeah,
probably take
that'd
it
be
out of
brutal.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be pretty brutal. I'm like lean to like the hamstrings all the way to the top. It would be just like fully getting glutes in, which is obviously a different level of pain and misery. So.
Yeah,
How have you managed to stay so lean if you've been in Marbella for like the last 5 weeks? So I know for a lot of people, the mindset is when you go on holiday or when you go away, it's you come off your plan, you sort of deal with the damages when you get back. How have you sort
Yeah.
of managed to stay away from that?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm literally I'm speaking about this quite a lot at the moment on my Instagram in terms of like holidays and how I used to really struggle with food noise coming back, way heavier. For an example, like this time last year, I would have been going to Croatia with my family after my show. Obviously, very first time getting properly lean. And then a week after that, I went to Portugal with my mates for 2 weeks. And I came back from that in a right state. Not like a dreadful rebound, but a pretty bad state, right? Um, and the difference in my mindset this year around, just from the fact that this is my second proper diet, has been I'm so much more mature in this diet. It's ridiculous. Don't get me wrong. There's still little things here and there, but I think, in my opinion, sort of each diet gets easier and easier. Um, and I think this time around, it was like Marbella to me, like it was never really like a holiday or anything. It was, coaching, going out there. Obviously, I went out there for the photo shoot to start with, where I sat at about 80 kilo, lean, but not like anything, crazy. And then when I was out there, I don't know, I followed the baseline food meal plan. I guess I was moving a lot, right, walking to places. Step count was probably quite high. I think I managed food very well. Like I was just literally following my meal plan just while in Marbella. I had to, do a couple things like tuna or whatever because it's, foreign supermarkets. And then I think purely just like I love being peeled. I love what it does to my mindset and the discipline it takes and the productivity it holds. And then I think there was also an element of some like accidental starve maxing a little bit here and there, just sort of like missing meals. I had quite a few setups to do, and things picked up really quickly. Getting all the footage from the photo shoot, a
Mm.
bit of socializing as well. It was like shit. I'll just have a can of tuna, forget about the rice type thing. So some accidental starve maxing, yeah.
Fair
Yeah,
enough. Fair enough.
you said that a couple of times when we met in Cambridge, starve maxing. Did you make that up yourself, or did you just heard someone else say it?
It's just I don't know. It's just I guess it's a bit of a word. I think it's like starve maxing, chub maxing, isn't it? It's like it really is the extremes of both ends. Like obviously you're in your off
Yeah,
season right now, right?
mate, yeah, it's getting hard.
Yeah,
Literally.
so you're probably feeling that, right? And it's that's the crazy thing about bodybuilding. Again, something that I really struggle with. It's just the extremes of both ends. Like if I think when I was I was literally having 5,000 calories training day not long ago. In winter, you don't feel that different in terms of your face and that. But I look at photos of my physique now, and I'm like, fuck, I was a chud, bro. But I was strong, and I had the benefits of an off
Yeah, exactly.
season. But it's the pros and cons of each phase, right?
You know what was funny was obviously one thing that is like a bit of a learning curve for me is obviously being so busy now with the business. I struggle to be like just as regimented with like food and like my meal plan sort of thing.
Yeah,
Whereas like sometimes I forget to eat. Obviously, like it makes my life fucking hell because then I have to like think. And Cole got introduced to last 2 weeks ago. I'm sitting there and I'm like, fuck, I've got to eat.
yeah,
I'm sitting there with like 1,500 calories in front of me, and like on the last bagel, I'm literally gagging.
yeah.
I'm
I've
forced.
actually never seen anything like it.
Yeah. What did you just put the like last two or three meals together, or
Yeah, I
did
put the
you?
last 2 meals together.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
I got through most of it, and then it was the last bagel with turkey bacon, and I'm
Yeah.
literally like, I'm sitting there, and I'm standing over the sink while I'm eating it. I'm like,
Yeah.
gotta get it fucking down me.
Brilliant
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah. Crazy,
Cool.
isn't it? The
Yeah,
differences in each phase is mental. Like
yeah, it is.
I've never really struggled with getting food down. I think I literally had like one moment in my off season over winter. Bearing in mind it was a very little off season, but I had one moment where I was like, oh, like this potato doesn't taste very nice right now, and that was about it. Other than that, I was actually smoking through the
Yeah,
meals. My body was clearly quite hungry for the food, and it was a lot of food. But it is funny, and then you go into a diet and like you're like, oh, why did I feel that way? Like what I do right now for a
yeah,
bagel with turkey rations.
exactly. It's like I'm in this position now where obviously I competed in 24, so yeah, you did the year after. So I'm now like coming up to like a year and a half deep into my off season, or over a year and a half into my off season now. And it's like
Yeah,
when I was like my first push up phase, like the calories got to like I think they got to 4.3 was at its highest. They never touched 5, but they got to about 4.3, and I was easy eating it, no
yeah,
issues whatsoever. And what's interesting now is the fact that my calories are only at 3.8, but I'm because obviously I've been in my off season now. I had a little like 10 weeks sort of like mini cut, but it felt like it did nothing.
really.
It's
Yeah.
just like my hunger, like at this point now, is just like it's a struggle. But we're getting there. Like I'm finding ways around it, so it's just
Yeah.
interesting. But it's what I'm quite curious about because we've had multiple conversations with like different guests on here about like the whole 100% or nothing sort of like mindset, especially that's what bodybuilders sort of like really pick
Mm.
up. Would you say that you've always been someone who's had that mindset? 'Cause I know you literally said those exact words.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'd say so. I think, it's not really like not necessarily in that sort of being conscious about I don't know who said it for the first time. Is it that trained by JP that says that? Nah.
100% or nothing. No, that's
Is that James Hollingsworth? He's got a tattoo of it, I
James
think.
Huntington has it tattooed on him, but I've never heard him say it. Obviously,
Yeah.
my JP's for do not fucking miss one.
Yeah. I don't view it in sort of in that way, otherwise, I would have probably blasted like gear and stuff, right? But I think like literally just like since I can remember, it's been one of those things where it's like, at school you've got your 100-meter race. Some people will give it, 80%, some people will give it 50%. For me, it was like, just fucking give it 100%,
Yeah.
even if I'm shit or whatever. And I think that's carried through for everything that I am passionate about or care about in my life, like, which has pretty much just been the gym. Well, I guess like hobbies in the past, I would have been
Yeah.
all in on them, right? But the gym, yeah, obviously, like, 100% pretty much, right? Obviously, you sort of gradually learn what 100% actually looks like,
Yeah.
right? Back in the day, I thought it was 5 pieces of toast with honey and butter, and that was going to build me muscle, right? But obviously now I know it's how meticulous you have to be with the plan and cardio and blah blah.
I'm
Um,
curious, what when you said that about like the sprinting in school and all that, but what actually caused that sort of mindset where you didn't want to give 50 and you wanted to go?
I think, I think genuinely, like, however much I do preach discipline and stuff like that, especially with my coaching and my social media. I think sometimes like people are just born with it or they're not. Like I genuinely think I think it's a bit of a genetic thing, just like wiring in your brain, right? Just like anything, just like some people might be born, like being really mathematical or anything. I think it's just another one of those little wires that some people have, some people don't. You have to build on it still, right? Because even with that all or nothing mindset, I've still had a
Yeah.
few years where I was, drinking, eating shit food, smoking, blah blah blah. So it's not like I've been perfect whatsoever, but I have always had like like when I was skateboarding when I was younger and I loved skateboarding, it's
Mhm.
not like, yeah, I'll skateboard, this is sick. It's like obsession, hours of YouTube videos, hours of practicing,
Yeah.
hours and hours and hours and hours. Yeah.
That's where mine came from because in school I was so shit at school when I first
Yeah.
started. I was so shit at school and like I was like had the special teacher get me pulled out of school. I was like that was a special needs kid sort of
Yeah.
thing and like having that sort of having that from an early age, I was always like someone who had to work hard. And
Yeah.
I think like sometimes when you are bought like when you're I find that some of the times the more gifted you are as a kid, sometimes it can create more of that sort of like lazier mindset.
Yeah.
Whereas people that need to work harder, especially like when they're younger, have that sort of like because I'm like I wasn't really seeing this much, but I'm like a really unathletic person. If you fire a ball at me, I'm probably not going to catch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like it's so funny. There's always this ongoing joke with my friends in the fact that it's like I don't like no one would have thought the fact that I'd be like into the gym and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. No one I still say that I don't match my physique.
Yeah.
How I act doesn't match what I sort of
Yeah. What, just like that natural like
oh
athleticism
my god,
where
I
it's like,
can't
yeah.
run. I literally
Mm.
I'm such a like think what I'm curious you said that like were what were some of those hobbies that you had before
Mm.
bodybuilding?
Yeah, well, I guess that's a good point to be fair, because although like, I've said I think I'm pretty just hardwired to have the discipline and that sort of all or nothing mindset. I did spend most of my like childhood as like a competitive gymnast.
Is it?
Yeah, I did really well in that. So I think when I was like, I mean, I'm dreadful at time frames and stuff, but I got scouted for like an elite squad just because they saw me doing some like crazy like strength stuff when I was really young. Like probably was doing just like some mad pull ups or something. I've always done that. I got scouted for like an elite squad. Did that, which was like a big amount of hours a week, right? Like proper,
Yeah.
like the coaches would sit on us to like stretch us to increase our flexibility to the point where we are like genuinely like legit crying in pain. Like I'm not even capping. Like serious
That
stuff.
makes so much sense because I saw on your story you do the handstand push up and I shat myself. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
Oh, you should have said like literally, and also because he's so lean right now, he did a handstand push up and you can just see all the striations in his.
Yeah, but you know what? That makes sense if you were a competitive gymnast, because my girlfriend was the same,
yeah.
and she says the exact same thing about the training, like where they used to sit on her and stuff like that. Like that seems like such a common thing in that space that's actually quite scary.
It's so bizarre. It's really, really bizarre. And like the conditioning, I just remember like my sort of faint memories from it is like dreading it,
Mm.
because it was so hardcore. Like like V sits till failure, which is just so gnarly, and like
Yeah,
all of that stuff getting stretched and the standards that you have to be at. And I guess that is the thing. So such a select few people like do really, really well in gymnastics, and
yeah,
so when you're young, they're basically just trying to mold you into it, right?
yeah.
And yeah, I just remember just pure anxiety on the way to the gym all the time with my little leotard on with my chalk so that it would stop chafing, little like snack box or something. And then I was just really excited for the occasional 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the session where they'd say,
Uh-oh.
right, go
Oh,
do what you want, because
Oh
that meant that
no.
I could
oh
just get
no.
off dips and stuff, which is
Sam,
the part that I enjoyed.
come
Just lagging
back.
to me.
Oh, okay.
Could be my
I wonder if you
well.
can hear us still.
So Louis, how are you, man?
I'm really good, man. I'm really, really good. Yeah, but obviously we think Cole's back from his lovely holiday in Mallorca. Do you tell the audience how that
I'll be
was?
back.
Yeah, it was a
I
really nice
reconnected.
week. We were obviously talking about and I was
Oh, he's
gonna.
back.
Oh,
Just
is he
cut
back?
out
Yeah,
bad.
he's back.
Yeah,
He's
that
back.
There
was
he is.
like
He's back.
30 seconds. Yeah, go from whatever you said, Cole. I didn't hear any of that.
No, I was just we
We
were
were
just
we were
making
just making
a little bit
conversation
of
until you
small
got
talk,
back.
waiting for you to come
Oh,
back.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
I've got
just
some
saying,
real
going on from
Wi-Fi.
like
Okay, okay, that's it's interesting. Like, do you still carry that sort of like anxiety when you're driving to the gym for legs, or just any session?
Oh, yeah, legs. If you're not anxious on the way to the gym for legs, then you're not training legs. Yeah, anxiety
Exactly, exactly.
should be the feeling pre-legs for sure. I mean, I guess somewhat depend. I've definitely, pushed myself harder in the past, like prep or whatever. But yeah, legs, you should be feeling pretty anxious for that for
Yeah,
sure.
no,
Yeah.
that's it. It's funny, like a really so you obviously you did like whole gymnast thing. Do you know what I did when I was a kid, like growing up from like the age of like 11 until sort of 16 when I started going to the gym? I went fishing. I love fishing.
Fishing.
I went
So
fishing, man. I like. Well, the thing is, I used to love that shit. Because I used to be it was like the laziest thing ever. I used to get to sit down. I used
yeah,
to eat loads of food, watch Netflix, and then just occasionally just try and like it'd be great. I used to have
yeah,
like
yeah.
the
really
laziest
cool.
sport ever.
Fair. That sounds pretty chill to be fair.
I used to do carp fishing as well. To be
Oh,
fair,
fucking
I
no!
felt
But you
like
know the thing is though, I always think about it sometimes. It's like obviously like I say I have no clue how much you know about like carp fishing and all that sort of stuff. I know Cole does. It's a really strategic thing, isn't it? Like you have to be really like when you're making the rigs and all that sort of stuff. And sometimes
100%. Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
sometimes think like where you have to look at the wind of like where do you think the fish will be in the sort of like the lake.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I used to fish these like there was a couple of lakes nearby would only have like 30 or 40 carp in. They'd be like
Mm.
really sort of they'll all be like big fish and it was like you had to be really strategic about like sort of thing. And I sometimes think like it's very like business sort of like you got to be really you got to think about everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, listen, I mean, I think anything from a that you can take to a competitive standpoint is going to have that sort of translation
Oh,
into like a business mindset because anything that requires any sort of critical thinking is going to help you towards that process. Do you know what I mean? It's like what I was saying last week and sort of what you guys have been saying about the mindset of bodybuilding. Like hard work is always going to beat talent, but unless you have that talent, you're not going to put in the work. You're not going to put in the work at something you're inherently shit at.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like if for me, like obviously, everyone plays football in school, but like I always knew that I was absolutely wank at football. So why would I ever try and put hard work into that because I didn't have any sort of inherent talent for it.
yeah, yeah. Valid.
It was the same with me with a lot of that sort of stuff. It was like I hated football. It was when I went
Oh,
to the gym. I was like, oh, okay, I'm pretty strong. Like, oh, okay, this works.
yeah,
Yeah, see what I
Fucking
mean?
I
Like
fall
you
into that.
may not think that you had that
Oh
mindset
yeah.
like ingrained, but if you started and it found it and
Mm.
then it just clicks in your brain and
Yeah.
like you say, Sam, like if it's already there, you've just got to activate it for something that you love doing as well. Like
yeah.
it's the same for anyone.
I think that's quite interesting that we all never really got along with football because that was always obviously hard in school, right? Because everyone
Yeah.
just fucking plays football at lunch or loves talking about football or whatever. And whenever it was mentioned, I'm just thinking, bro, this is so boring. I do not
Yeah.
care. Like I
Yeah.
do not care. But I guess maybe that's a trait that you are a bit separated because of that. And I think anyone who does some outstanding ballsy stuff, which admittedly building a business at a young age realistically is because of all the shit that comes with it. Maybe that sort of
Mm.
links back to being not sort of fitting in. Like I never really felt at school like I fit in particularly
No,
and stuff like
100%.
that, right? So maybe that sort of translates a little bit, right?
Even for you, I'm sure you got a fair bit of sort of stick for doing the gymnastics, right? Because for
Yeah,
me, I was a competitive ballroom dancer
I
from the
really
age of 5 to 16, and
okay.
I never heard the end of that when I
Yeah,
was at school because it's just, oh, you're gay, oh, you only
yeah,
do dancing to be with girls and stuff like that, and it's like
same,
it does
same.
make you feel like such an outsider, and I think that, like
Yeah,
you say, I think it does actually help
yeah,
towards sort of being a bit more independent, a bit more sort of front running when it comes to other stuff because I don't know about you, but I've always felt like I've had to prove myself that little extra bit just to, come above other people.
Yeah, I think so. And I think at the end of the day, like everything in your childhood, I'll never be the guy to like be like, oh, because of this in my childhood,
Mm.
I now function like this or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's going to have an effect, right? It's when your
Yeah,
brain's
definitely.
developing, you just soak everything in.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the same with anxieties and fears or whatever. I think you just you just soak it up like a sponge, right? When you're a child, and it's going to be the same with that's sort of where you get dealt your cards, right? Initially when you're born, and then you sort of
Yeah.
shuffle your cards and stuff, and then I think you hit a certain point. I think, sort of 19, 20, moving into your 20s, where you're like, right, I'm beginning to know what I actually like. I've sort of experimented with, going to the parties and whatever, trying to fit in and live the normal life. And then you sort of know what cards you're
You
dealt and what
realise.
strengths you have to play to, right?
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I With going more on like the business side of things, like are you like fully online now? Because obviously I know cause I know you did here and there in different sort of like shifts.
Yeah,
You now
restaurant.
fully online.
Yeah, fully online. Yeah, I
Fucking
made.
go, man. How'd that feel?
Yeah, man. Well, it's funny you say that. It's one of those things. It's like that goalpost just keeps moving. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
really thought. I remember thinking literally like, well, I remember before any of this, it was like, if I can have a job where I get to drive to the gym every day, I don't have to go and work at the restaurant, and I get to just build my own business. I've literally made it, even if I'm not making that much money or whatever. I've just made it. It's as simple as that. And then, I remember a few months ago thinking, right, when I'm getting towards that point, when I quit my job, that is gonna be the best day of my life. I'll be popping a bottle of champagne. And then it happened, and I was like, I literally just sent the email, and I was like, okay, what's next? Like, I need
Yeah.
to crack on. Like,
It was crazy. Like when I gave my notice in at David Lloyd, it was fucking mental.
was
It
it?
was
Yeah.
like that did feel like because did you have to just like did you have to do like a notice period or did you send an email and that was it?
I just sent an email. I think they knew it was coming.
By
Is
the
it?
way, I'm not coming in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily I was in Marbella, so I literally said like, because I extended my stay in Marbella, I was meant to come back on the 10th, but I came
Oh, is
back on
that
the
why?
21st. Yeah, so I said, right, I'm gonna be out here a little bit longer. They were like, okay, that's cool. That was sort of me hinting like, you know.
Yeah.
And then I sent another email just being like, look, like I love everything you've done for me. Like it was a really good sort of company and stuff. But I was just like, I'm at the point now where I'm going all in and I can sustain myself. Peace out.
Yeah.
So
That's fucking sick, man. That is I see from your Instagram like you posting like your it's growing quick now, isn't it?
yeah, I think Marbella, yeah, I did really well in Marbella. Got a good amount of sign-ups.
Good.
I think sort of May helps as a month, right? I think May is a good month.
Mm.
But yeah, it just sort of was one of those
Yeah.
things where nothing in particular changed. It's not like I had some sort of method or anything like that. It was just like good
Yeah.
conversations. Speaking to some good lads who are actually keen to sort of act on their goals, and then that's that, right? So it was a nice bit of momentum while I was out there for sure.
The social proof you're pushing out right now is really impressive. The guys
Yeah,
you've got some really cool guys who are doing really well. And I
yeah,
feel like once you like, I feel that's something that I found as well. When all of a sudden it just like I think 1 week, all of a sudden I just had like loads of people just sent over loads of sort of like transformations. I'm like, oh shit, like
yeah.
thing. And then like once you get once you start really pushing them out, it's like, okay, this is pretty cool. And then everything
Yeah,
starts moving that way.
100%. Yeah, I feel like I had a good sort of batch of transformations over winter, because it's like you get lads on the team who are really ready to lock in over winter, right? And so they'll lock in, and the compliancy to the
Yeah.
plan's really good, etc. Obviously, you continue to help that, but at the end of the day, locking in over winter is going to get you a solid batch of social proof, and then
Yeah.
you get that sort of awkward period December onwards where it's like people are just all over the place, and
Yeah.
so it is realistically just a little bit harder from a lifestyle standpoint. Bearing in mind, I don't coach. I have a few sort of bodybuilder lads, but I don't coach like top athlete level people,
Yeah.
where it's like that social proof slows down a bit. You still get the
Yeah.
weekly wins. You still get people feeling great. But realistically, it's like, you know, I had a bit of Christmas pudding. I've done this. I've gone out here. I've done this. I'm struggling with motivation as well. That's a big thing,
Yeah.
right? December to sort of now. Um, but yeah, now with some, you know, some things sort of picking up
Yeah.
through summer and that, it'll be much easier to get some
Yeah.
good transformations.
No,
Yeah.
that's sick.
That's really strange that you say that. Do you think, I don't know whether it's, you know, very different from like a coaching perspective or anything like that. Do you feel like summertime is a high for sort of inquiries and people coming in? Because obviously from a, you know, an in-house sales perspective, it's actually quite the opposite. Like for me down at David Lloyd, summer is probably the quietest period, and then you
Really?
sort of pick up through through September. You know, you have a little bit of a higher, and then obviously January peaks out, and then it sort of comes back
Yeah.
down again. So it's
Yeah.
interesting you say that.
I think I think there's that element of you know, fat loss, right, which is what objectively one of the easiest ways to visualize progress and visualize if you're not making enough progress and then wanting to reach out to someone, right? Maybe in comparison to a building phase where a lot of lads will think they're doing it properly when, you know, they're just getting fat and fucking getting stronger and thinking that that means progress, right? So I think there's sort of that element moving into summer, you know, people wanting to get leaner, lose some fat, and that's quite easy to tell if you're fucking up, right? The scale's not
Yeah.
dropping, you don't look any different, you keep binging on the weekend, whatever. So yeah, May was definitely my best month, and it's really one of those things I need to sit down and sort of analyze, because it's like I went to I'm always balls on it with the business, right? Absolutely a lot meticulous. I'm sure me and Louis are very
Yeah.
similar in that way, where it's like, you know, I think there's some people who will post, that's about it. They don't care about
You're
KPIs,
very
they don't care about
consistent.
follow-ups, they don't care about, you know, staying up till 10, 11 o'clock updating their, you know, list of people who you're having good conversations
I
with and
got
stuff like
bollocking the
that.
other day for not keeping my CRM like as up to date as I could. So I'm
Oh,
trying to
really?
get
Yeah.
my CRM a
Yeah.
bit more.
Well, it gets messy, eh?
Oh no, I've had to what I ended up doing was I got Claude to scrape my whole Instagram, and I've built out my whole like CRM just from that now. So it's all like
Yeah.
it's all up to date sort of thing.
Using Claude, yeah, that's mad.
It's all, yeah, I just use Claude
Crazy,
so
isn't it?
much. Like any sort of any sort of stuff where it's to do with graphics or anything like
This
that.
guy might as well be a shareholder in Claude.
Claude is
He's always
mental. Have
talking
you
You're not
used
about
running out of
AI?
them tokens.
Huh?
You're not running out of them tokens.
Yeah, but I have premium, so it's like
Oh, you got premium now.
yeah, but I'm thinking about getting the premium where it's unlimited tokens.
Really?
But that's like 100 quid a month, so we'll see.
Is it?
But yeah, so with it, it's like literally I can get Claude to just like scrape something. Like if I just say I just go through, I've had like say for me, like obviously my ads has been booming recently. So in the last say like 2 months, like 1,100 people have come in from the ads.
Yeah.
No way I could go through that without Claude.
Yeah.
Claude just literally scraped all 12, like I think it was like 1,150 people, just scraped everyone. And then I told it to go into each message and say, have I voice noted this person? Have I like, what sort of like stage of the sound? Because it has all my SOPs as well. I've given it, so especially when Cole was coming on board with business, I really spent a lot of time getting everything SOP'd, literally every part of the business, and Claude has that. So effectively, like it can go through my Instagram and like it can tell what part of the SOP it is. And then what I've done is I've scraped it, and now I've got a spreadsheet with it telling me every person and what part of the sales process they're in. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's
Sick.
mad.
I
That's
love
crazy.
it. It's so cool.
I haven't stepped into that yet, like putting AI into my DMs or anything. I've just
Oh
sort
no,
of,
don't ever put I'm only scraping it, because if you put AI actually into your DMs,
yeah.
then there's a good chance you get banned.
Oh,
Because
okay.
Instagram
So,
doesn't like AI messaging people.
okay, yeah. So
All
when
I'm
you
doing
say,
is scraping it in the fact that I'm like, so what you can do is you can give Claude access to Chrome,
okay,
and then Claude has control of it's crazy things. So I'll have like this I'll have like a tab open and just like it'll be moving about because Claude will be on it, like moving sort of
crazy.
thing. So I'll just like give it access to Chrome. It'll go onto Instagram. It will go literally hit my followers, and it'll just scroll slowly. And then from that scrolling, obviously it writes everything down, but it's not actually got like,
It's more of an analysis than an action.
yeah, it's analysis. It hasn't got any control of my Instagram.
It doesn't take action. It just tells you what's
Yeah,
what.
exactly.
Yeah,
Because
that's
it can take action. Like you can do that with your meta ads as well. You can get Claude to completely like control it. But all these different things is
That's too scary.
yeah, but
Yeah.
the thing is though,
Imagine if
like
it goes
Meta,
wrong.
Instagram, they're detecting AI and then they're going fuck you and banning
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So you gotta be a little bit and also like I know there's been a couple like occasions where it can actually really mess up the whole like Jack, obviously he used like a AI landing page. Did you see that video that he
Yeah.
yeah, he used an AI landing page and he got fucked
Yeah.
by it.
That is
And
the thing, isn't it?
it's one of those cases where it's like realistically it's a shortcut, but shortcuts tend to end up being a long cut. Like a long
Yeah.
cut, like it ends up being like it
It's
causes
just
more of a
what
headache.
Jack's saying, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like things like carousels and all that sort of stuff. Like Claude just makes it, and I just change the text. I
Yeah.
give it the photos. I literally give it all the photos. I give it what I want to say, and it makes like a 7, like 8 slide carousel.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. The only thing that I use Claude for at the moment is I do like a weekly educational thing for the team. So I'll get like AI to help me with that. Otherwise, I'm just sat typing out what I already know into a presentation, which is just time wasting. Right? I'll give it the information and I'll just get it to create the presentation. And then like occasionally like helping with content and stuff.
Yeah,
But other than that, I think I've done such like um, scripted stuff in the past, and I personally just think like personality and really like being organic with it and stuff like that is more so um, sort of the better way because at the end of the day, although like obviously conversion's huge, which is going to be probably higher if your marketing is balls on it with like
yeah,
scripting and certain hook lines, blah blah blah.
mm.
At the same time, it's like, if a lad watches like a day in the life video that you filmed that is really cool
Yeah,
and he gets along with your personality, even if it is like a few months down the line, where he's, struggling or even like a couple of years
mm.
down the line, if he's had that initial, this guy's fucking cool,
Yeah.
which you're going to get a lot more from, an organic sort of day in the lifestyle video in comparison to like, are you fat and ugly and miserable? So was I, blah, blah, right? So yeah, I
Oh,
think
you
it's,
see that so often, right? People just insult each other, just in like,
yeah,
you a fat fuck who hates his life. Come to
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Give me
yeah,
£500, please.
yeah, come to me. Yeah, I know, it's mad. So yeah, I think it's sort of finding that balance, but I definitely think I can 100% see, with the managing just the amount of
Oh yeah,
followers and stuff. That's crazy because even when I did ads for a bit, I just found it so miserable because it's like in order to gather the data, I need to message every single person, right? But realistically, this is just a paedophile, a gay bloke, a random guy from India,
oh,
and
it's
it's like
so
that is
funny, Cole.
miserable, right?
We,
Like,
I haven't told Cole like a lot of it. When I first started running ads as well, it was just gay guys and just like
yeah,
weird fucks.
Oh
yeah,
mate,
Yeah.
I still see him now. I still see him when they pop into your DMs.
Oh,
I'll
I go, I
pop them
want
a
to
voice
fuck
note,
you.
and it's like I only followed you because I think you're sexy as fuck, and it's like okay, go away, go home.
no, it's. I mean, that's where I guess literally having something to scrape it and I guess see if it's an actually useful conversation as
Oh
well
yeah,
as having Cole helping you.
have
That is absolutely class because right now, I mean, I haven't run ads in a good while now. Right
How
now,
high
it's
did they
like
get to? How high? How much were you paying? And
I feel like my ads were pretty unstructured. I've probably dumped maybe £1,000 total into ads and got nothing back. I don't think. Well, I know I didn't. Just
did you ever
across like
think about getting like help with Sean with like ads manager? Like well, I know you.
yeah. So I was in Plus for a while as like a trial thing where Sean helped, and I think like it's just the fact that you need more time, right? Like we tested this one thing, this one thing did absolutely shit. I sort of didn't understand how it could do well and stuff like that. But it is testing. I mean, at the
Oh,
end of the day, it's
100%.
just gonna be right.
I
Right.
found that the thing that worked for me was literally like not like I have got an educational one running right now because obviously there's this one ad that I've posted where it's literally just like it's the simplest ad ever where it's
Yeah.
literally me where I've like the issue is like I want to use photos of when I was shredded in 24 but I look like a completely different person there.
Yeah.
I can't use that because I just don't look the same. So back in November I did like a little mini cut like a little thing and at the end I did get a little I got quite lean, but I didn't take as dear as many videos or pictures. I wish I did, but I got one, and I literally just posted that. Well, Sean just literally said, use that, write down me waiting for 20s, me waiting for guys in their 20s.
To follow
It's like at
seeing it.
200k views now,
Yeah,
and it's
that is
like
mad. Yeah,
it's been bringing in sort of like it's bringing in loads of followers, which is really cool.
yeah, that's
But
mad.
like I've tried recreating it with so many different things, but obviously because I'm bulked now, like it's just less impressive. Because
Yeah,
like realistically, how I look right now is a really common thing that I'll hear is the fact that it's like, oh, I don't want to get too big. Like, you know, how many people I'll reach out and they'll actually go to me. They'll be like, oh, I want to get in shape, but I don't want to get as big as you. I'm like, oh, fuck
yeah,
it,
that's mad.
sort of thing. But obviously, when I was lean, it was a better sort of like thing because that's like what people think they want to look like.
Yeah,
They don't understand like what you have to do to be
all
able to
phase.
like look like that. They think that if I just do a diet now, I'm gonna look like that.
Nah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot more that goes into
It's
it. Yeah,
interesting to see how people's perspective of like just in
100%. People just sort of chase the image. They don't like. I know it sounds really cringy, but it's like a lot of people, like the unserious people that you get in your DMs and stuff like that. They're always chasing the end result rather than chasing the process. And I
yeah,
think especially with stuff like bodybuilding and stuff like that, you are chasing the process. I think that's sort of what we've spoken about a little bit. Like, it's not about for me in fighting and stuff like that, I know that the development at the end is going to come a lot quicker, so I can chase that end goal and then move on to something else and something else. Whereas I feel like in bodybuilding, you have got to really fall in love with the process because it's
yeah.
so agonizingly slow. From like any
mm,
sort of bodybuilding style cuts and bulks that I've done with Louis, like outside of my fighting seasons, just to work on my vanity and my
mm,
aesthetic. Like it's just
yeah,
so much slower than you think it's going to be.
yeah. I think it is the process itself that um is why, like, I say I'm a retired bodybuilder, but I still live like
The
a
best
bodybuilder.
on like the best junior fucking retired natural bodybuilder
Yeah,
out there right now.
yeah. That's what Reese says. He's like, you're the best worst bodybuilder ever because it's like, I'm genuinely like legit probably more on it with my diet, cardio, training, etc. than like 99% of juniors or whatever right now. But I think it's because like it just plays into everything, doesn't it? Like it's like I think I mean prep opened up such a like crazy world to me of like I guess like gratitude, hard work
Yeah,
and stuff like that. When you do a prep it's like before a prep you're chasing all this dopamine through shit food, through scrolling on your phone, whatever it is, while still going to the gym like an average sort of gym lad. You do like a prep or a serious diet or just a serious phase where you actually like give it your all. And it's like I think particularly a diet because a diet will literally like sort of change your mindset and stuff. But it's like it's as simple as like a black coffee in the morning. It's just like so fucking good. And going from someone who used to need like an elf bar and scrolling and speaking to girls or whatever it is to now it's like give me my laptop, give me a nice work block, give me some music, give me a black coffee, and it's like shit. Like, and that's from bodybuilding and physique development, right? I wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for physique development. And I've always said physique development is the single easiest way to completely change your life and completely change who you are as a person, in my opinion, right? Like,
I really strongly I believe in that as well.
yeah.
What about it that did you find about like your 25 prep to be like, so brutal? Because the first prep's always gonna be brutal. What was it for you that was brutal?
Prep was brutal. I don't know.
Just the
I
whole
don't know.
thing.
Yeah, like I don't think I'm a pussy, right? But it was just so brutal. I mean, at the end of the day, I got inside out, right? Like inside fucking out. All the way head to toe, glutes, etc. And I guess, at the end of the day, before that, I had never lived like a bodybuilder. Okay, so I loved watching the bodybuilders. I loved going to the gym, etc. 5, 6 times a week. But it was legitimately like try and hit my protein. Probably if I'd ever dieted before then, it was probably like refeeding off of Domino's every single weekend, right?
Yeah.
No step goal, cardio when I felt like it, blah blah blah. Split up with my, always put all my negative energy into the gym, so it was always there, and I was always hammering sessions way harder than anyone I knew, anyone that I was going with. Split up with my missus, which is where I said, right, I'm going to go all in on this, and like literally just inquired with Reese, got straight on with Reese. And as soon as I did that with Reese, bearing in mind his standards are pretty much at the top. Like he is an extremely fucking high standard, hard working individual, and that's why he's in the position he's in. And that is gonna, whenever you get coached by an individual, that is gonna completely mold who you are as an individual, right? I even find myself speaking like Reese sometimes, okay? And I think going from 0 to 100, right, straight into a prep, 15, 18 weeks or whatever, I guess it was also new to me, so maybe, that's what made it extra hard. But in summary, the main things was energy levels, right? I legit just felt like a fucking baby gazelle, like straight out of the womb. Like my legs were buckling every few steps, at the back end.
Yeah.
The whole thing of like being so fatigued that I don't think I put shoes on for the last month, where I was just putting on my sliders because I couldn't be bothered to tie up my shoelaces because of how little energy I had. I didn't want to put my seatbelt on in my car because it just required me to go like that, and I just didn't have the energy to do that. So I've got into a really bad habit of driving without putting my seatbelt on. This is all like real shit that I was genuinely dealing with, and
Don't do that anymore. We've got new 20-mile-an-hour cameras now that will they'll
Yeah, I
catch you
know.
without your seatbelt.
And your phone, and your phone. Yeah, I know. Got to be on it. Luckily, I'm out of that habit. Although it did last a while, it actually sort of ingrained it in my head. So yeah, energy, food focus was huge, but it was never as devastating as I know it is for some people, especially first timers. I did my fair share of scrolling through takeaway apps and fantasizing my post show meal.
When I'd go for walks, I'd purposely go into like Morrison's or just look at the bakery, just stare at the bakery.
Yeah, I did a little share of that as well, actually. Yeah, come to think of it.
I'd walk in and just stare at it and just smell it a little bit.
Yeah.
Even I'd go look at do you know my favorite thing was in Lidl. You know the Lidl where like in the middle aisle they get like special things in where it's like special, like they don't always have it there. It's like every couple of weeks they like revamp it.
Yeah,
I would, because obviously sometimes they would have like new like stuff like in there. So like I remember one time I found a 0-calorie like caramel coffee like sweetener thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Just a niche little like thing.
Honestly, it was terrible. But like that's something that I regret so badly was I found that like with like my coffees, my oats, I put too much sweetener and stuff.
Yeah.
And I found that I almost like I made my food focus worse because I was giving myself so much artificial sweet stuff.
100%.
I was almost like craving like proper sweet stuff. And that's the thing, like something that I find is crazy because I know it's very common within people in prep, and they just like they break or like they binge. Like where you see those videos of like someone binging and they're just like in their car crying or something like that. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was talking about. That was so funny. I was like, what the fuck you doing? You're IFBB pro and you're fucking in your car crying.
Yeah, I know. I genuinely...
And getting the camera out as well and like, oh, I'm crying. Actually, let me get my camera out. Oh, let me get some money out of this shit. But, like, that sort of stuff. So I never binged once or like, for me, because of, it's interesting what you said there about, how you speak. Like I really do think like obviously you've been working now with Reese for like 2 years.
Yeah, since I started my prep, so like December 24. December
24.
It's been a good
But yeah, so but like I've been with my coach Jimmy and like for coming up to 3 years now. And like I find that like I coach and I have no issue because Jimmy's an incredibly good coach who gets some really nice results. So I have no issue with this, but I coach very similar to him, and I feel like you pick that up.
Yeah, you always will, 100%.
Like who you say, and like I'm finding that with some of my clients, like some of my different clients who, especially like more like the bodybuilding ones, they're acting like me. They're kind of like picking up my sort of mindset now, which is kind of like. It's weird. It's kind of weird how it's like you influence that sort of thing. But
that's your goal at the end of the day, isn't it? Really, you want to have an influence on their life.
Yeah.
So I guess seeing that reflected back at you, that's probably got to feel quite good. To be fair.
Obviously, like
Like,
I've got I've got a couple. Probably only like I must be like I think it's about 4 or 5 people who are younger than me, and like, I'm talking like in their like I think one's 17. I've got two guys in their who's 17, like one who's like 18 and one who's like 19. And I really like, actually quite enjoy coaching that sort of like younger sort of person because obviously they're really impressionable.
Yeah,
Well, even though they're still only in their late teens, it's like we're not that far off of age.
yeah,
It's interesting to sort of see like how they're sort of like acting and all that sort of stuff.
yeah,
Isn't it like Riley's a guy that I've brought on. He's competing this year. I'll be prepping him this year, which is gonna be cool. But like
yeah,
Riley's stubborn as hell, so it's trying to like
yeah. Is
he's
that the geezer? I keep seeing some guy who is clearly very genetically blessed,
oh
and
my god, like
yeah,
it is
him.
a joke. Yeah, yeah. He's like 17. It's
Nah,
crazy. Like the thing and like just sent over my check-in shots literally about like 5 minutes ago. And it's crazy, but it's interesting to see like how your influence in sort of like training and all that sort of stuff because he was a low volume warrior. Like I'm talking like 6 to 8 on lateral raises and shit like that. And it's crazy how he's so jacked from that. He's
yeah,
massive from like
yeah,
training that is so like fucking like I walked in like one time and like he's doing like he was hammer curling the 40s. He had used some straps to hammer curl it. Shit for he wasn't throwing it, but he was like it was using a bit of momentum, but it's crazy some of the
yeah,
shit
yeah,
he does. But it's mental to see like the genetic response from some of these younger kids.
yeah, definitely.
It's
Yeah, I
mental.
think.
do you feel that coaching people younger than you, and Sam, I don't know, have you got anyone that's younger than you, or
Yeah,
like, are you, yeah,
few
do you
lads.
feel that it gives you that sort of extra level of authority? Because I always feel like, I don't know how much it relates, but whenever I tour someone like a David Lloyd who's older than me, it almost feels like they don't give me that same level of
Yeah.
respect because they think that they're above me, they think they've got more life experience, all of that bullshit. Do you find that in coaching as well?
I think there's always going to be a small part of that, like simply just from like social constructs. If someone's older
Mm.
than you, they've been on the planet for longer, blah blah blah. So again, I think that's why I coach. Yeah, like a couple lads younger than me. I coach some lads in their sort of 30s. I think at the end of the day, like if someone looks at your social media and they can clearly tell that you know what you're doing and you live up to the standards that you speak about. And if you are in some like wicked shape, then that has the authority in itself in that aspect. It might make it a little bit harder in some other aspects. In terms of maybe like mindset stuff, etc. Like if I obviously a big thing for me is mindset, discipline and all
Yeah.
of that stuff. And sometimes it can be like if I'm speaking to an older client about mindset related stuff or lifestyle related stuff, as in, bro, I can guarantee if you genuinely go all in on this plan, you are going to be less tempted to do X, less tempted to do Y, Z, and just sort of talking about like how it develops you outside of just muscle, but more so like your mindset and you as an individual and your lifestyle. It can feel a little bit like that's a bit hard for me to say, although it is very true, just because they're like
Mm.
older or something. And then if
Mm.
it's a younger lad, it is a bit easier to be like, bro, I can guarantee, like this will develop you as an individual, and
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
speak about that stuff a bit more, right?
yeah. That's exactly it.
Fair play, man.
You speak a lot about which I love. I completely agree with. You speak a lot about mindset, and I know that you're sort of like your whole like coaching phase like relentless. What's the coaching that's called?
Project Relentless, yeah,
Project Relentless.
yeah.
And like I remember you saying like relentlessly consistent. What does that mean to you?
Mm. Relentlessly consistent. I just think I'm such a big believer in just being relentlessly consistent, right? Like it's like I made a post the other day and it was like um, with the gym, I started going blah blah blah, good, 5+ years ago now. Obviously made all the mistakes under the sun, bro. 103 kilo when I was 17, fat as fuck, blah blah blah.
You made it 103.
Um,
What are you sitting right
yeah,
now? Like,
to be fair, I was don't tell Reese, I was a proper low this morning. 75.8, which is low, pretty low, but
How
that
tall
is
are you?
like 175 centimeters, 5'9", 5'10" ish.
you've always been quite. I want you to continue with that whole relentless thing, but you've because what was your stage weight?
So I think the lowest was like 72, 73, and then filled out on stage.
What's
Obviously,
my
bearing in mind like fluid
That's a
and
heavy stage weight.
I was going
yeah,
to say,
yeah,
Louis, weren't you like 77?
No, I was 70.
What?
Yeah, I was lighter than Sam. Sam was definitely bigger. Like that Sam would have whooped my ass when I was competing as a teen. But
mm.
um
I think legs. I think legs is something that's quite unspoken about in terms of stage weight. I think if
oh
you
yeah,
have
my legs were
a
tiny. They were pins.
yeah, if you have a really developed, you got like that's your second. That's a whole huge appendage of like that's
Yeah.
that's your second lower half of your body,
Mm.
right? And again, I was doing an in-person session with some guy on the team who looks fucking great. He's one of those guys. He takes his top off. He's 75 kilo.
That was like you
He's
put your
very
story yesterday.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
saw that because you posted a picture of him like in the mirror, and I was like, oh okay, he's like he looks a bit like skinny. And then you
yeah.
posted a picture of like him doing a front double bicep in the next store. I'm like, fuck, what the?
Yeah, right. It's one of those physiques where it's like, so he's like 75 kilo. Obviously, he's pretty lean. He's not, shredded, but he's pretty lean. And it's like, you look at him in person, you'd think at least 80, 85, 90 just from his upper body. But the thing is like slight lacking musculature in the
Yeah,
legs, which obviously we're working on. And then again, just genetics, muscle
yeah,
insertions, muscle bellies, fat
yeah,
distribution, and everything like that. But I think, yeah, I mean, realistically, on stage, I was a pretty a good amount of
yeah.
musculature with ridiculous conditioning, and I guess that is what took it. Because I wouldn't say my shape is beautiful. I think it's okay, but I wouldn't say it's like outstanding. But yeah, mainly my legs probably that bumped it up stage weight wise for sure.
That's like my whole like the whole 2 year off season has just been my legs, and like I'm
Yeah.
now sitting at 97 kilos, and
Mm.
like it'll be interesting because when I did my mini cut, I only fell down to like I think it was like 89, and like I was only lean. Like I wouldn't say I was shredded, but like I was starting to see sort of like glute lines because obviously I built my legs up now. So like because they're bigger, you see striations a lot sooner
Yeah.
and all that sort of
100%.
stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see where I'm sitting. Honestly so excited to prep in 27. Like
Yeah.
words cannot describe how excited I am, which is I think one of the main reasons why I do sometimes like I find it crazy the fact that you're this lean and you just don't have that like. But I guess everybody has different driving factors.
Mm.
Everybody has different driving factors. And me, I just fucking can't wait to get back on stage.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is cool. I mean, yeah, it's something that I haven't really given much thought to, but obviously I've had like whenever Reese puts stuff in the group chat, where it's like, Sam accidentally got stage lean and then everyone's like, you should compete, blah, blah, blah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess realistically, the fact that that doesn't actually come to mind and excite me is probably
Yeah.
good enough reason to not want to
Oh my god,
not do it.
100%,
Yeah,
100%. Like I feel like you've got that. You've obviously got that mindset in the fact that like if you say you're gonna do it, you're gonna fucking do it, and I
yeah,
love that. But at the same time, it's like I think once you've done it once, you're always gonna have that in the back of your mind. It's like, why am I doing this again if I don't really like
yeah,
want to?
yeah. I think potentially like, I think a thing that's like a bit of a pro and con for me is the gym for me was always like a negative energy outlet, right? Like I said, and I think I absolutely utilized that right after this, this breakup I had where it was like, right, you've got two options here. You're either gonna, start smoking again, drinking, eating shit food, blah blah blah, or you just go all in and put all of that energy into a prep. And I did that, and all of it realistically was, well, not all of it, but the majority of it was negative energy fueling my
Yeah,
sessions, which isn't always great. As in, I'm going into the gym really angry about this situation, which means that I'm going to be able to progress my leg press set, even though I can't even move this morning, right? It's like one of
yeah,
those. And I think, given I'm in a better spot mentally this year, um, it's like, could I, like, that is the question, could I genuinely right now dig down to get glutes in while continuously progressing on a 45-degree leg press or a hinge or
yeah,
something like that. And I think if you're an individual that's able to put positive fuel into your training, which is something that I more so do now, but I just haven't quite matched the intensity, then that's fucking great. Do a prep, and if you enjoy bodybuilding, getting on stage, blah blah blah, that's sound. But I think because I use all of this negative energy for my last prep, it's like I don't think I'd have the fuel to do it right now, right? And so yeah, there's that, and then just the fact that I think being on stage itself, some people say it's like, like you said, it like lit your world up. And for me, it was like, it was cool, but it wasn't like, it
Yeah.
wasn't game changing, right? So,
Do you know another thing why I think the excitement's there is because obviously I had no off season before. I was the same as you. I went to the gym, I watched the videos, I didn't eat right, I just hit my protein, and like
yeah,
there was nothing thing. And then I just decided to get a coach, and obviously I said I want to compete this year. So Jimmy was like, "Oh, okay, sweet." So then we prepped. So it was just I
yeah,
went from like no off, or we had like I think me and Jimmy started working together in like I think it was like must have been sort of August of 23. So we had like
mm,
a 4 month. I think no, I think it was like a 4 month sort of off season, which wasn't really. It was
yeah, just like filling out.
we called it a recomp because it wasn't
Yeah,
even my food. My food didn't even go above 3,300 calories. It was just sort of
right.
get me in a better spot, and then
Yeah,
obviously prep started, sort of thing. And I think the reason why I'm so excited is because I was very unhappy. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I did a couple NPA shows. Like before I did you have you even heard of NPA? I don't
don't
think
think
many
so.
people. Yeah,
No,
exactly. It's one of those feds in like thing which isn't very thing which I won. Like it was like lineups of like 3 or 4 people which I won. But like I did
yeah,
a UK DFBA show and literally I came fourth in that thing and thing. I was just like I hated that. And because of my mindset of the whole like I hate the like not being the best at something.
yeah,
That's why I'm so excited because I've had 2 years. Well, it's going to be 2 years of just like thinking like now when I speak to some of these people what I compete with or know I'm going to be competing with. It's like shit. Okay, I feel like I'm in a better spot than them now because
yeah,
of like
yeah,
because of how I've treated these last 2 years.
yeah,
Like my biggest weakness was my legs. They're still my weakness, but like my quads are pretty damn fucking good now. And
yeah,
it's like and we had a brief conversation on Instagram. Like my quads are getting bigger, but the lines are still like not where I want them. Like obviously we were talking about
yeah,
that guy, your client who's like fucking got lines everywhere on his
yeah,
legs.
George, yeah,
And I was like,
yeah,
what the fuck? Like I've literally trained like a motherfucker every
yeah.
single like
Well,
twice a
you're just
week.
in your off season, innit? You haven't, lowered that body fat enough.
Yeah,
But
it'll be interesting to see that sort of thing. But
I'm sure they'll be there. And
oh
again,
yeah,
like, it's there is bodybuilding is again genetics
yeah,
huge, right?
exactly.
Like legit huge. I stepped off the spin bike this morning, legs striated head to toe, like veiny as fuck, and it's like I think genetically, like I never did anything
Mm,
special for my legs other than, just those sessions where I was absolutely hammering it,
yeah,
even if, even before Reese, I would just always, again, put that
yeah,
negative energy into it, which meant my output in my leg sessions
yeah,
was always ridiculous. But that doesn't really, mean anything because at the end of the day, like genetically, they're just good, right? The same way that my chest, like, I still put that same level of intensity into my chest.
yeah.
My chest is fucking shit, right? It's just genetics, and so that's another thing actually. Ironically, well not ironically, but with bodybuilding itself, to me it is like, and this is a bit of a defeatist mindset, but it's also kind of reality. To me, it's like if you don't have the top 0.5%
Mm,
genetics, right? I view myself, maybe top 5% genetics in some aspects,
mm,
right? But that top 0.5%, you look at someone like Toyton or
yeah.
have you seen that guy who's been blown up recently who with the curly hair, quite a lot of
Adam
curly
Power
hair.
Client.
Yeah, yeah, that guy. So
Oh
there's
yeah,
there's those individuals, right?
yeah. But
And
he'll be honestly. I was speaking about him like he's gonna be 20, so he won't be because I want to see like Riley was sending me photos of him. Am I gonna be against him? I was like, and I
yeah,
expect his birthday. And he'll be 20 by the time he competes. I'm like, oh thank fuck.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this is the thing, right? Like, legit, just genetics, okay.
Yeah,
And the same way with the PCA show the week before my UK FBA when I did men's physique, the guy who beat me, Jack Barnard, shout out to Jack, fucking top guy. Um, he genetically just is great with his
yeah,
chest, right? Like, I was more conditioned than him, and stuff like that, which some federations will like more than other federations, blah blah blah. He just had this look, and all of this stuff. And again, it's funny with Jack. I'm sure he won't mind me. Well, actually, yeah, I don't know if he'll mind me mentioning it, but this maybe keep it between us. In his prep, he admitted that occasionally he ate, off plan and stuff, and sort of made up for it with Stairmaster or whatever. And I remember when he told me that, bearing in mind me and Jack are sort of mates. So I remember when he told me that, I was like, I find that mental because I
Yeah.
did, like I said, I did not miss a gram of food, a step, a minute of cardio, nothing.
Yeah.
And I still got beaten by someone who was just genetically better than me. Genetically, for men's physique, he had this chest that was
Yeah.
like fucking out here, so that when I stood next to him,
Yeah. Just
and right, genetics, it's crazy, it's ridiculous.
it's interesting. Like and do you sometimes though like because of that, like I love bodybuilding because of that sort of like it's hard and obviously some people just generally better, but I sometimes like the appeal of like the whole business side of things purely because there is no such thing as genetics. It's just
Yeah,
like it is the most sort of like yes, there's gonna be people more of a head start. Yes, there's gonna be people with like fucking rich dad sort of like thing, but when it comes down to it, it's like the people that work the hardest are the people who do the best, and I fucking love
correct,
that. I love that
correct.
so much.
Yeah, Jack put a thing up today actually of there's no luck in business, and I sort of
Yeah,
sat there for a second, sort of thinking about it. Cole, I'm sure you can chip on this as well. I think there is definitely a element of, again, your cards, right? At the end of the day, if you get given a good amount of money by your parents, just because that's not luck, but it sort of is, right? If you get given, a good amount of money by your parents, which you can then invest in, property or something, like you're gonna have friends growing up or whatever that somehow legit will have like a steady income just from the fact that their parents have given them something
yeah,
or whatever. You might have like one or two people that you know of, in your life. And so I feel like there is that, but in terms of long term business, yeah, there is much less of that
yeah,
sort of downside to bodybuilding, which is legit genetics. You get looked at, and if your biceps just have great fast twitch muscle fibers and the perfect insertion, and they respond to mTOR beautifully every single day, which
yeah,
just means they fucking go like this, then yeah, that is literally like luck, right? In a way, like how you were born. Whereas business, yeah, legit, like at the end of the day, you know, someone like Alex Hormozy, people can't quite fathom it. People can't quite fathom how hard I work. People probably can't fathom how hard you boys work. But at the end of the day, we haven't even scraped the fucking
I
surface,
know.
right?
It's an exciting part about it. Like, it's just like it's an on, and like I got asked a question yesterday of like, am I content? And the answer was yes and no. Like I'm very happy with like the thing, but like this year for me has shown me my potential, and it's made my life like I've almost made me less content because I'm like, fuck, I know what I need to do, but
Yeah,
I know also how much volume that's gonna take for me
yeah.
to get there. And it's like it
Sickening.
was like such a mind blowing sort of like thing. It's like, am I happy? It's like yes, but at the same time, like I think going to these events, like going up to 'cause me and Sam went to the same like Cambridge sort of event, and then obviously I went to another event literally a couple of weeks back. I don't you didn't end up going to that one, did you?
Oh no, I was in
Oh yeah, you
Marbella.
were in Marbella, of course you were. But and all that sort of stuff, and it's like being surrounded by these people that are like doing so well. It's just
Mm,
such a driving factor, and it's so like exciting to see
yeah,
that when there's guys like in a room and they're putting in like 15, 20 grand a month, and it's like fuck. But like then you speak to them and then you find out what their day looks like, you find out what they do each day, you find out the systems that they have in place, and it's like okay, cool, I know what you got to do, but like it's gonna be a lot of sort of work involved,
yeah,
which is
The hustle, yeah, yeah.
100%. And that is really, that can be hard in your 20s, right? Because
yeah.
no one else is doing it. It's fucking,
Exactly. But I think that's such a massive driving factor for me. I love the fact that no one's doing it.
yeah,
Fucking love that shit. Like
yeah,
that's something that drives me on quite a bit. And I bet you're probably the same with your sort of background and the fact that like you kind of feed off the fact that not that you're not like being average. You're not doing like the normal thing.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it is. It's cool. And at the same time, it is still something that I weigh up a little bit in my head, like, like doing all of this, missing out on social occasions, blah blah blah, whatever it is. Like there is like balance is bullshit, right? It
Yeah.
is definitely bullshit,
Oh yeah.
especially if you want to build a business. But at the same time, I think inevitably you're going to have that slight like shit, what if I do actually like look back, even if I have a legit booming business, what if I do look back and think, do you know what, like I could have potentially gone to one or two more things to enjoy with my mates or whatever. And so I think that that is always going to be something that's hard. So I think in my mind it's like just the general rule of thumb is just put business first, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you want to make it. And if that does mean today I have a 10-hour day where I have, you know, two setups, X amount of content to film, blah, blah, and that means that I cannot go out or whatever, or, you know, then sound.
Yeah.
But if today I have like a 5-hour day, you know, I've just got to do some check-ins, film my content, it's posted, and I do have the opportunity to go to something nice, then is that extra sitting there on my MacBook going through AI, trying to think, fuck, how can I best strategize for blah, blah, is that really going to serve me any benefit in comparison to maybe just going and actually like socializing with some normal humans, right?
Yeah. 100%. A big question I wanted to ask is like, what was the main driving factor for you? Like, have you always wanted to be that person? 'Cause I know you said like, for you it was like being able to drive to the gym and make some money doing it was like a dream of yours. But like, was there a driving factor into like entrepreneurship? Like, literally, but you're 20 still, aren't you? You're almost 21.
Yeah,
Yeah.
20 to me, yeah.
So like, what was the driving factor for wanting to do this so young?
Um, I think like I think a big part of it, which I haven't even really figured out too much yet, would be like making my parents proud for sure.
Yeah.
Like definitely, I think that's a big thing. I think there's a lot of things that go into it. I think like making myself proud, like Cole said, almost that having to prove yourself a little bit. I guess like
Yeah.
subconsciously and maybe like less in a positive way, a little bit like egotistically. I've definitely still sort of battle with a bit of that, right? Like, you know, I want. I'm not going to lie and say that I don't want people to think like, oh, fucking hell, he's, you know, crushing it, right? I think there's that sort of element. I think the way that it just suits my lifestyle and how I work as an individual. Again, like, you know, when I used to work at the restaurant, it was like, oh, Sam, are you staying for drinks or whatever after a shift? And it's like, bro, I've got 5,000 steps left to do. I've got my oats to make. I've got my, you know, the start of my business to sort of plan and
Yeah.
prepare. I'd rather go home, watch some, you know, some killer guy on YouTube who's making like £100 million brand or something and eat my oats once I've done my steps. I know that you know, sounds weird to you or whatever, and I know you're going to think, oh, fucking, why are you doing all this? Why are you doing all of that? Blah, blah, blah. But personally, chatting
Yeah.
shit with your work colleagues over a cheap pint of beer and
Exactly.
waking up feeling pretty knackered is just like my idea of like misery.
Yeah.
And you know, and I think that's the main thing, right?
I Cole can probably detect like remember this in the fact that like when I was prepping in 24, like obviously at David Lloyd because obviously that's how me and Cole met. Obviously we both worked at David Lloyd, and I remember like obviously like in 24. I feel like it, and there was like everybody would end up going to pubs, like and all that sort of stuff. There was a bit more of sort of
Mm.
like managers and all that. There was a bit more of that sort of community thing, and like every single week, I'd get asked, "I'll come to pub." I'd be like, "No, I
Yeah,
know, like that's not happening. I need to get home. I need to eat. I need to do my thing." And they're like, "Oh, you just can't. Like one won't hurt."
yeah, I
And it's
know.
just like,
I
no,
think you came out once for like half an hour.
yeah. And I went to the toilet and left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally
I
came out
respect
once.
why.
Because it was a colleague's leaving do, and I didn't want. I felt bad for saying no, and I went out, sat there for half an hour quietly, and said to everybody, "Oh, I'm going for toilet." That was when we went to the what's it called, the Archers. That's the only time that I came out. Remember before that, what was it like Brooks like leaving thing before she came back?
No, no, there was one in you met with us. I don't even remember.
Yeah,
Firkin, is that what it's called? I don't remember.
I don't know, but yeah, I've done that twice. I might have done it twice, and I always just go to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
toilet
yeah.
and leave. Just like fuck this, just go in,
Mm,
sort
yeah,
of thing. But yeah, no, but it's just like it just is what it is. It's like people want to understand, but like once again, it comes down to maybe that like egotistical thing. I was like, I like that. I fucking like that. I
mm,
like the fact that people don't understand. I like the fact that I'm a little bit different. And I was having a conversation yesterday, and like I think from speaking to more people, I always used to think I was like, so I'm someone who does very much care about other people's opinions. I do. Like I'm not gonna sit here and lie saying I'm doing all this for myself. Like no, I want to go to the gym so like people think I'm jacked. I want to have a business so people like. Obviously there is like I definitely want to do this for myself as well, because I mean I wouldn't have the driving factor. But it's a mixture of both. I have that. I know. I'm very aware of that. But something that I always thought was the fact that I thought that some people just don't care and they just only just do it for themselves. I'm now getting in this mindset now where I just personally think from talking to so many different people that everybody deep down has this sort of like mindset deep down. Like if you like absolutely like keep on just doing sort of like a sour sort of process with them and you just sort of like get into that emotion, it always comes down to other people. Always.
Yeah,
Sort of
yeah.
thing. Interesting. Like, would you agree with that? Would you think that everybody? Because I personally now am in this mindset that everybody just cares a little bit what people think.
Yeah, yeah, I think there's always going to be something, right? I think I've always said like you got to attach your the result you want or your goal to emotion, right? So yeah, like getting into the gym realistically for me, egotistically would have been I feel conscious about my looks. I feel small. I feel blah blah blah. I want to be able to go to the beach, take my top off, and people be like, "Fucking hell, he's in good shape," right? And then I think that sort of gets you into that. And then I guess with business, I feel like I don't know. I don't know. I think yeah, there's of course there's going to be an element of it, right? Like wanting to be able to say that you've bought a nice car or be able to say that you work for yourself or something like that, right? Let's again let's not lie. Um, and I think that's fine. I think
Yeah.
I think realistically as long as your morals are screwed on and you actually at the end of the day if you're doing the online coaching grind, then it's pretty evident that you do legitimately care about getting people in fucking good
Yeah.
shape because there is a lot of things that realistically you could probably match effort into and get rich quicker or
Yeah.
financially benefit from quicker. So I think at the end of the day, people look at coaches nowadays and they think, oh, they're all just in it for the money, blah, blah, blah. I think there is, some people who do that, but realistically, you probably won't see them in 6 months' time because when
Mm.
they've gone 4 months without a sign up and they've posted every single day, they're just going to quit and think, fuck, I haven't made any money yet. Whereas the ones who are actually in it for the love of the game
Yeah.
and what physique development does for an individual, blah, 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 they're the ones who are going to do it for, 3+ years and fucking grind through the shit, right? So I think, yeah. In summary, yes, there is an element of external factors, which comes from internal
Yeah.
egotistical stuff, right? But it's what sort of whether that's a positive or a negative thing for you as an
Yeah.
individual, I guess.
Yeah. No. 100%. Like when you say about like, because for me personally, I want to ask Cole this actually. Is I train very much from a positive sort of like outlook. Like I train always very sort of like positively. Like I always put that sort of like there's never like ever much sort of like negativity. I got to do this to prove this person wrong sort of thing. It's like it's always going to be a case of like I want to do this for like because like I just love it. But like obviously when you were saying like in your 24 prep, it was a bit more sort of like going into it a bit more with like a negative sort of mindset. But I fueled that. Like Cole, we're obviously oh, with with Instagram Reels open. Just
No, no, that I got a call. That was a quick reaction though.
that
You
was
see that?
quick. Yeah, I did
Yeah,
like
that's
that. But no, Cole, with your fighting, would you say that your training is quite positively fueled or negatively
No,
fueled?
no, it's negative because it's for me personally, I see it from very much a kill or be killed aspect. Like if I don't train with the intention to kill the person that's going to be across from me in the ring, they're going to kill me.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's as simple as it gets. You really do have to put yourself in a negative mindset. I can't. I've never once stood backstage and gone, "Oh yay! I can't wait to get into the ring. This is going to be such a fun fight." Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
When I'm backstage,
That's how we are. Yeah,
I'm literally getting myself into the mindset of I need to hurt this person as much as possible, as quick as possible, or they're going to do the same to me.
yeah,
And you can probably see it like if you go back and watch my fights and Louis the fights that you've come to, you can probably very visually see the times where I've been locked into that mindset versus the times I haven't. Like my last fight, I absolutely wiped the floor with the guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that was probably the time where I was most locked in, most ready to go for it, and like because I had a different person cornering me, and that person really sort of came to me with something different, and was like, I want you to put a statement on him in like the first 5 seconds, and that was why the fight went the way that it did, because I came out and literally gave it 100, like my first punch was 110% power. Like there was no sort of feeling out process, no like let me see what he's got for me and then I'll start going harder. I just went, yeah, fuck it. Like it's a do or die sort of situation. Whereas I think my third fight, a lot of stuff went wrong during the day, like leading up to it. Like my coach's car broke down, so I ended up having to go and pick him up to actually come and be in my corner. One of my other cornermen was sick, so it ended up being a really sort of shit show of a day, and I just couldn't find that mindset, and I got battered round the ring. So it very much again comes down to mindset, but I don't think there is a way that you can be a fighter with a positive mindset.
Fair.
I don't think that's
I thought
possible.
so. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, you look at any like successful fighter, they've had some fucked up past. So
100%. Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I've had some devious fucked up path that got me into fighting. I just sort of fell into it. Like I started at David Lloyd. Yes, probably got a bit of shtick about being a bit of a short fat boy while I was in school and stuff like that. So I was like, let me get started at the gym. You know, that might
Are you
change some
short in
opinions.
school?
Bro, I was like 5'6", and like
Sam, Cole is like 6'5".
no, right.
yeah, no, literally during lockdown I went like that.
What the fuck? I thought you were always
No,
tall.
so Louis, think about when did you meet me? Was I like 17 or?
No, I was 18. We were both 18. So I just started everyone when I was 18.
But yeah, so anyway, so my physique progression, I was 16 and like 5'6" and 65, 70 kilos. So I was quite a
Yeah,
rotund small man. And then I had my growth spurt, but stayed at the same weight. So then I turned into like some little beanstalk. I was really tall and really skinny.
yeah,
And that was when I was like, right, now I need to get into the gym. Like, I need to actually fill this out and take advantage of it.
yeah,
And then after like a year of consistency there, like, I think, mate, I honestly, I must have just first year gains, newbie gains, whatever, I must have just fallen into it right, got into the pattern well. Because I wasn't tracking my macros or anything. I didn't even know what that was. I was 17 years old. I was just eating more and working out. But I got to a pretty good size. Like, that was probably my peak size. I was like
Yeah.
96, 97 kilograms.
mm,
And not massively fat. Like, I think I've shown you that photo of me from,
Yeah, yeah.
from that sort of time. Um,
Your bulk's
and then
what
I
scared
thought,
me.
huh?
Your bulk scared me.
Mate, my bulk, Sam, at the peak of my bulk, it was just sitting in the David Lloyd club room and
yeah,
eating 2 portions of double cheese, bacon cheeseburger and chips, and the side of 14 chicken wings, and
shit,
yeah, no, it went stupid. I was probably having some meals that were like 3,000 calories just in one sitting. It
dirty
wasn't.
bulk.
Yeah, it was dirty.
But you know what's
Um,
funny was Cole, me and Cole when we worked together, and like this was we dieted him down for like his for a fight, and like you experienced what it was like to obviously like you didn't get mega lean, but you still experienced what it's like to properly diet and be like low energy. That was
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, after about a year of that, sort of being in like I guess a bodybuilding training space, I wouldn't call it that because I wasn't prepping towards anything, but I guess that was sort of my goal. You know, get big, get lean, that sort of thing. I just sort of fell out of love with it. Like my strength sort of plateaued out. Like I got quite strong. Like literally a week before my 18th birthday, I think I deadlifted like 240 kilos.
yeah,
I was benching like 120, squatting like it's actually quite bad compared to my deadlift, but I was squatting like 160, 170, I think. Um, and it just plateaued, and I was like, I want to find something different. And
mm,
then I think my For You page kind of influenced me, to be honest. I just
yeah,
started getting more fighters popping up, stuff like that. I was like, yeah, that looks pretty cool.
yeah.
sort of gave it a go and haven't looked back since. And I think it's just worked better for my body. Like me and Louis had a conversation on one of the last podcasts. Like if I'd continued down that path, there would have been no place for me in like bodybuilding or anything like that. And
a
I'm
brutal
pretty much the
conversation.
same as you guys. Like I'm 100 or nothing. Like if I'd have continued down that path, I would have wanted to compete.
Yeah.
Like I know in myself that that's as simple as it gets, but I'm
Well,
too lanky and
being
like my
six foot
legs.
five, Sam, like I'm sure Sam can imagine,
Yeah.
like
That
that's
that requires a lot of extra fucking effort. Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
so
qualification.
I think finding fighting was the best thing for me,
Yeah.
and yeah, I've just loved it since then, and yeah, that's my story of getting into it. There's no sort of a deep dark path where
Yeah. Yeah, but
any
you
of that.
still, you
Yeah,
still, have to, like you said, you sort of utilize those negative emotions, like, right, and
100%.
put it into your fighting.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I mean that's pretty sick, ballsy stuff. You're not getting in a ring. That's cold. A lot of my mates do like all the Muay Thai stuff, and yeah,
Mm.
it's savage. I mean, it's just like the gym. It's just like relentless training and fucking stuff like that. I guess
Yeah.
like you just pay a little less attention to food, and then other than that, still being pretty balls on it, right, and fucking
Yeah,
smashing.
no, and this is what I said to Lou before. Like when I did that cut with him, like I was saying, I could never imagine doing like a bodybuilding prep, doing like because what did you say you did, Louis? Like 20,
yeah.
twenty two
My
weeks.
prep was like 20. Yeah, it was about like 20,
That
24
was
weeks.
ridiculous. I did 8 to 10 weeks for the cut for my fight. I think I did like what did we do? I think we shed like 8 or 9 kilos, and then
Yeah,
I did obviously like a little walk cut at the end, like which was an extra sort of
and then a little carb
2 or 3 kilos the day before.
Yeah,
But that was just I was thinking if this is half of what you guys do for bodybuilding prep, fucking could never imagine doing
Yeah,
that shit.
yeah, it probably is legit like half as well, if not
yeah.
less. And
Yeah,
there's such a big difference between lean and bodybuilding lean, and
yeah, no, definitely.
yeah, it
Yeah,
requires that extra fucking
that's it. Well,
pain.
so what we're going to do is we'll probably just wrap it up now because I can see your point. Getting a bit hungry now. I need to get some food down me as well. It's
Yeah,
getting
and I'm gonna fall through the desk if we're on here for much longer.
but one
Yeah,
thing that I always ask, but Cole always seems issues with me asking this, but I like to ask. Like, obviously, you are very locked in all the time with like food and all that sort of stuff. But I need to ask this because just I need for my own peace.
yeah.
Okay? It's a cheat meal. You don't care if you binge a little bit. It's okay. I'm sure you're saying, what are you eating?
Oh, great question. Great question. Um, okay, so it's been an absolutely very long time since I've had a cheat meal, right, in comparison to an off-plan meal. At the end of the day, a cheat meal does include a bit of binging, like you said,
Yeah,
right?
of course, it's always going to be.
Yeah, and I think to me, I'll try and avoid that moving forward as much as possible because I think it's quite a easy, nasty cycle to get into, right? As in, to me, it's just like if you're eating past you being full and satisfied, that is just quite unnatural and unhealthy, right? Um, and that will very quickly pick up on a
Of
diet,
course.
right? You'll just fucking keep going. My cheat meal has been, in the past, consistent for the whole of my life, bro.
Yeah.
My cheat meal has been, and I can't remember the last time I had it, but I used to, like I said, do this maybe every other weekend in my first sort of diets before I was with Reese. Um, Domino's.
Okay,
So
what type
you've
of Domino's?
talked about it.
What are we getting on top of a Domino's?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'll get into it. Don't worry, I've got the ins and outs.
Oh, you just gonna say
The
Domino's. Okay, yeah.
the dopamine's flying. So Domino's American Hot every single time, right? That's the jalapenos and pepperoni one, and onions as well. I fucking love anything like jalapeno, onion, gherkin, anything like that. Fucking class. It's the same with like a New York deli sandwich or something. But
Okay, yeah.
Domino's American Hot, so pepperoni, yeah, blah blah. Extra jalapenos on there though as well. Extra garlic sauce because that
Yeah.
sauce is just ridiculous. Hence why it's 500 calories a pop, right? The big ones, which is melted down margarine with garlic. No
Yeah.
wonder I wake up feeling like death. Extra garlic sauce though, which would be wrapped up, bro. Whole. This is a medium-sized pizza, and then on the sides it would have sort of rotated a little bit, but the Domino's was always consistent if I had a cheat
Yeah.
meal. Domino's American Hot. On the side, it would tend to be either like a little box of pastries. I'm a sucker for pastries, right?
What type of
Like
pastries we talking?
like a what's it, the
Yeah,
maple?
I just asking. I'm picturing it.
I
Yeah,
can
the
actually see you guys both fantasizing about this at the exact same time. It's crazy.
especially me, bro. The maple, like, like an apple turnover and a maple
Oh
glaze,
yeah,
almond croissant, all of that stuff, right? I'm an absolute sucker for them. Again, just nowadays it's like 500 calories a pop, and I'm like, I can't fathom that. But maybe one day down the line, I'll definitely get a pastry in when I go to Greece on the 7th.
yeah,
Box of them, or it would be like, I was a sucker for a bag of these pretzels, sour cream and chive pretzels
yeah.
with like a dip. I've always been like a chip and dip kind of guy. Or cinnamon buns or something like that. Yeah,
That
that's
sounds banging.
me.
Okay. Well, anything you want to shout out? Obviously, we're gonna tag it anyway. But like, what's your Instagram? Like, anything you want to shout out? Kind of push from there.
Yeah, SB Fit, SBFI, 3 T's on the end. That's pretty much my Instagram, my YouTube, and my TikTok. TikTok's
Amazing.
just a bit of a laugh. YouTube's popping. YouTube's pretty cool. I need to get back on the grind. But yeah, the Instagram's the main source for everything sort of gym related, and me being like a baby gazelle again. No, I'm joking. I'll be eating some more bagels soon. It's fine, I'm sure.
Amazing. Well, Sam, thank you so much for coming on. Honestly, this will it was great talking to you. It was great actually getting a bit of an insight into how your brain works, your mindset, and just how actually being relentlessly consistent actually looks like. But yeah, I'm gonna let Cole finish off with his outro because he always does that.
Yeah, man, we've got the signature outro. So you gotta do the cam slam. So you got to put your hand over the camera so it goes
Right,
black
well, at the
out.
same time, yeah.
Yeah. So we all got to do it at the same time. So
Okay.
we'll see you next week. Episode 10 should be a special one if we can configure it right. But otherwise, thank you very much for joining us, boys, and we'll see you next time. Ready?
Ciao.
3, 2, 1.
Hey.